So it says in the Sefer Yetzirah, Perak Beis, Mishnah Dalet, Esrim v'shtayim oisis yisod kvus begalgo b'reish lamed al shorim v'chozer galgo ponim v'achar. Right, that the 22 oisis, right, can be set up in 271 permutations, and you could do those permutations frontwards, and you can also reverse the permutations. And it says like this: V'zeh simonech en b'toiva lemala me'oneg en bera lemata minega. Right, siman of how the oisis, because Oneg and Nega are the same oisis, and so as a way of remembering this system that the oisis could be inverted, right? Ein betova lemala mi Oneg, ein lemata mi Nega. Right, so obviously there's got to be something deeper, to with the siman that the Sefer Yetzirah is giving, right, to this idea to remember how the oisis are mishapech. And the Svarim say, that obviously it's alluding to that you could go in 1 second from Oneg to Nega, and from Nega to Oneg. The Rebbe could change the program. The same program could be inverted, and Oneg could be Neshapech to Nega, Nega to Oneg, which is, of course, the sugya of this week's parsha, Negoim. So I just want to explain in what way, that Negoim and Oneg, Nega and Oneg, are two poles on the same continuum. Right, so sorry to be ma'ayanin, right? The how they're opposites, but opposites on this as in two poles on the same continuum, and that's why it could be nishapech from one to the other, right? It's like just easily inverting the isis, so also the situation connected that the isis could easily be inverted. So also the situation, Oneg could become Nega, Nega become Oneg, imagine two opposites but on the same. Two poles on the same continuum.
Like a drunk guy who drinks too much, eventually he starts throwing up.
Moshe Shir once sometimes Moshe used to say things weren't sure if he was serious or not. But he told us once when discussing this, amongst other things, he claimed that he read somewhere that at the turn of the previous century in Germany, they invented a machine that could measure pleasure, right? A pleasure meter.
They have it in the brain.
And I don't know. So he's talking about
But they do measure it today.
Okay, so I don't know. I'm just telling you. Sometimes he used to say things. We used to wonder if he read it in a serious scientific journal or if he read in one of these pseudoscience things. Yeah, yeah. But that's what he told us. He said, "Listen, they invented a machine in Germany that can measure pleasure, and they look for all the different pleasures in the world." Right? And they found that the biggest pleasure that there is when a leper or someone with a skin condition scratches. Right? Right? He says, that's that Oneg and Nega and Oneg, right?
Oh, that's so cool.
Right.
That's great.
That's very good.
Anyway. But, but to go obviously a little bit deeper, into it. Let's talk about a term that you think is obvious, but it's not obvious at all. What do we mean by Oneg? What's the difference between Oneg and Simcha? Like, why do we say in halacha that
Oneg is a bodily pleasure. Simcha is a spiritual pleasure.
Well, we're gonna say something slightly different, but you're in the right direction.
Shabbos, you have Metzorah.
Oneg Shabbos, and yet by Yom Tov it's called Simchas Yom Tov. It's interesting. Halachically, the poskim will always talk about Oneg Shabbos because that's the lashon of the Nevi'im, the cross of Shabbos Oneg, right? But the poskim by Hilchos Yom Tov copied the lashon of the scriptures, which is in Chumash V'samachta b'chagecha, right? So they call this one Oneg and this one Simcha. Now, what's the difference?
I quote this one. I heard it from Rabbi Greenblatt, but why do we sing Zmiris on Shabbos, but we don't sing Zmiris? We sing it, but we don't sing Zmiris.
Right.
On Yom Tov.
Okay.
So that's the question he asked. You want to have simple the answer is?
Okay.
Because it says Mizmor Shili Yom Shabbos, that's why. That's where it comes from.
Shabbos has the Kedusha of Shabbos.
Now why is a different question. But it's a pasuk. The pasuk tells you to sing Zmiris.
Right.
Shabbos has the Kedusha of Shabbos. Yom Tov, they bought their carbon chagiga, was more of a Simchas Yom Tov, not Shabbos Kedusha. It's not
Not
the
to
same.
say. So what's the chiluk
That's
for
the
the
opposite of what I'm saying, what you're saying. Because I'm saying one, Oneg implies a physical pleasure, physical pleasure.
Yeah, but the din of Simchas Yom
Yeah, no,
Tov is
it-
Basar
It
B'Yayin.
leads
That makes
to
sense.
happiness, but it's a physical description.
That makes sense according to
Jump
Zmiris.
on a hot day into a cold bath, you're not happy because of it, you're just feeling pleasure. You'd be the most depressed person in the world, but it's a very pleasant thing to do.
That makes
Nice.
sense according to Zmiris.
Okay.
It's all
Right,
all the good food,
right,
all the good
correct.
taste, all the good this, all the good stuff.
And even though, but, Ein Sipel of a Basar V'Yayin.
Right.
Yes.
That's a machlokes. That's Rashi and the Mechaber, because today it's only or in Yain, or because Basar used to be back then.
Chagiga.
I tell you, I heard himself here.
Okay, fine.
That was the Shabbos HaGol Drosha in Shari Tefillah.
Uh-huh.
On this precise question.
Right. Okay. Fine.
This year, the Rabbi Orly, this was the Shaila. The Rambam says,
Rambam says Basar Im Bizman
Gemara
Hazeh.
says Bizman Hazeh is only Yayin.
Oh, yeah, right. Right, so where I'm getting from.
And then in the end, it's a Shagasaya.
Right.
The Shagasaya says that it includes everything. But it says V'samachtem Chagecha, it's everything.
Okay. So
it's-
Parshas of one Lashon in the Gemara.
it's just- the question is, of course, Basa, because you need to sue this Yom Tov, so of course you need Basa.
Right.
So he argues, yeah, that because Basa is not a complete pleasure today, because you're thinking, when you're eating the Basa, you're thinking that it could have been a carbon, it could have been in the base of Migdash. So it's really had a
Tease.
negative effect, eating Basa.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, the Gemara says you need to add Yayin to it.
Uh-huh.
Dafka, you should add Yayin, so that the Basa, to take away that tinge of solemnity, because you're eating Basa.
That's not kosher. Because once upon a time was a chagiga. I hear. Yeah. So so there's something very interesting. Shabbos is the holiest day of the year. Kedusha Shabbos is above the Kedusha of Mayed, and yet it seems from Lesman the Polig that the din of Simchas Yom Tov is Doiraisa, Samachtem Chagecha. By Shabbos it's not Doiraisa. It's Mitakonos Hanavim. Right, V'Krosso Shabbos Oneg, As Tisana Gal Hashem. So it's Takonos Hanavim, which has at least the Fishitas Ram, the status of a Durabanan. Why is it that way? Why should it be that way? That by Yom Tov it's Deiraisa, and by Shabbos it's only Takonos Hanavim, which at least according to Rambam that means it's a Durabanan.
Chelik lachem, chelik l'shem.
You're on the right track, but let me develop
Or
this.
Shabbos.
No, so you're on the right track as to.
Maybe because
Like,
people
why is
watch
it Shabbos?
the
Shabbos is a holier day. Why is it that over there it's only midrabanan, right? It's only midrabanan, right? And so it's Shabbos drabanan by Yom Tov it's deraisa. Shabbos it's mechune oneg, right? And by Yom Tov it's mechune simcha, right? So now again, so really to think about what is the difference between oneg, vayavai, right? Right. Yoni?
Yes.
Yoni? Yoni!
There you go.
The lady.
All right.
What's up?
All right. The oven's waiting. We told you about. We just mentioned the word Oneg. We did about Oneg, and he walked right in.
I was listening to the whole thing.
Right. You were just waiting
wow,
for the word
those are ribs.
Oneg. Those are ribs. You have no idea what you missed. If you want, you can stick the.
It's actually, you know what? It's still warm. It's still pretty hot.
No, the oven's on.
You want to put it on?
Yeah, the oven's hot. The oven's hot. Stick it right in the oven. We'll have it in just a couple of minutes. All right. Just mention the word Oneg and came to Chulent. All right.
Oh, it's the end of the shir. Tisana Gel Hashem with dessert.
All right. Anyway, all right. So listen. So what's the chiluk between Oneg and Simcha? Okay. So let me tell you an interesting Rambam. There's a Rambam in Sefer Mitzvahs. Right, Mitzvah Gimel, the Mitzvah of Avas Hashem. Right, who should sivonu lovo yisale? Right, we command to himself. V'zeh is both menasku. It's also kulosav. Right, we should think about his mitzvahs and what he does. Ad shenasigehu, until we understand something about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, about the way he's manig. V'nisaneg V'hasagasai. Tachlis, we should have geschmack from what we understand. V'zosi ava mechuyos. This is the ava that we're mechuyev. That's called avas Hashem. The oneg that you have, the geschmack that you have from learning, right? That is the ava mechuyeves, right?
Why learning? It's
learning and understanding. Whatever you understand about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He says the oneg is the ava. The oneg is the ahava, right? So even before we get too deep, we already decoded something, right? That in the Sechat Tefillah we say, true to form, there's mitzvah Simchas Yontif, and we say, V'archei Hashem Elokeinu b'simcha v'sasa moadei kodshecha. Shabbos, which is a din oneg, V'archei Hashem Elokeinu ba'ahava v'ratzon. And the Rambam set up an equation. Oneg is ahava, right? Oneg is ahava. Right. And so
when you love something, you're happy.
So I think like this. No. I think it's like this, right? Right. Happiness is a response, right? It's a response. It's a tekuva, right? Now there's it's a response. You eat a bus of yayin, the response is happiness. It's how it affects your biochemistry. Oneg is like love. It's like love. It's enjoying the thing itself. It's not a response. This is how it makes me feel. It's enjoying the thing itself. Being misaneg al divrei Torah, says that's avas Hashem, and that's called like the real avas Hashem. Ava shenu tluya badavar. It's like mamish the ava of him. I want to pause it like this. Oneg is the sensation of sensing the thing itself, right? And that's why oneg is love. The thing itself, like ava shenu tluya badavar. You just love the person, right? Not because of how he makes you feel.
When you say oneg and nega, sorry for interrupting.
No, so we didn't. Once we define oneg, we understand why oneg and nega are opposites.
When you say oneg and nega, it's without a vav oneg, right?
That's right. That's right. Chaser, spelled chaser. Correct. That's how the Sefer Yisrael says it. Oneg is spelled chaser, right? Without a vav. Correct.
It's interesting because the Medrash Talpias, based on the Medrash Talpias, the Yesodas of the Osios,
right?
There isn't fire in it. It's only 3. It doesn't have the 4 Yesodas in it.
Okay. Well, okay. All right. I hear. All right, but so now it's very good, right? That understand, the Hevdal Mahuti between Yom Tov and Shabbos. Yom Tov, which like Tzvi pointed out, Sharp pointed out, right? It's Chetzio LaHashem, Chetzio Lachem, right? There's us and God. We split the day between us and Him, right? Right. So it's a we have a sense of self, but we're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to be happy. And the Chetzio Lachem is the din of Simcha, right? Now you're supposed to be happy, right? So on Yom Tov is supposed to be, and that's a response. Shabbos, there's and just like there's this din of Cholkeo Chetzi Lachem Chetzi Hashem, that's why it's the din of Mitoich, that it's Mutzer be Motzi Mirashus L'Rashus, that the Swarm explained. You have your own Rashus. There's a Rashus Harabim on Yom Tov, right? You have your own space, and that's why it can be Motzi Mirashus L'Rashus, and it's mamish an extension of the din of Lachem, of Ochel Nefesh, Mitoch Shut Shal Tzachot Shanami Shal Tzach. The idea you have your own space, right? But you're supposed to be happy. There's us and there's God, and we're supposed to be happy, right? And but us and Him, and there's supposed to be a state that that us and Him, we're happy in the room together.
We're
happy, right? Right? But Shabbos is a much deeper thing. It's pure dveikus. Like the Zohar says, it's Yoma de Nishmasim, right? It's a day of the soul. It's of pure dveikus, and the body doesn't get in the way. And that's why there's no din of Chetzio Lachem, and there's an Isser Hotzah Mershul. You have to only be in Rishus Hayochid, Rishus Yechido Shel Olam, and the din of Oneg Shabbos. The reason why it's only midrabban because the ikar is not the eating. The eating was just a hechi timta. It was an eitzah that the Nevi'im legislated to come to the end of the pasuk. We cross it out. Oz tis'ana gal Hashem. It was just a hechi timta to get the pleasure senses stimulated, but you're supposed to have that cling on to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like turn on the pleasure centers, and then Oz tis'ana gal Hashem, clip it on to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and be enjoying Him. It's Oneg is Ava. Oneg is contact. Oneg is contact. Oneg is the sensation of enjoying it itself, and the real Oneg Shabbos, which is Mistama D'Oraisa, is being Misaneg al Hashem. What's the Rabbanon was the Eitz of the Nevi'im, to eat something gishmak, to turn on the pleasure centers, and then once you activate them, then to Oz Tisaneg al Hashem, clip it onto HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Whereas by Yom Tov, the whole thing is just activate the pleasure centers, period. Right? And be in a state of happiness. Have the happy response that the food, the meat and wine cause you. Whereas by Shabbos, the food, the good food and the wine is a hechitimtza to turn you on, and then in that state, clip onto a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Because being Misaneg al Hashem, hu ava, and that's why Hashem Elkeinu ba'ava v'rotzon Shabbos kodshecha. And now you can understand why.
Does this have anything to do with rain on Haba?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Same concept.
Right. Dveikus and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbos is a day of Dveikus. That's Oneg. Oneg is when you enjoy the thing itself. And Mimel, you understand why Oneg and Nega are opposites. They're on the same pole, they're on the same continuum of being close or being far. Because the Metzorah, the Bala Nega, right? What does Uncles call it? Sgiru. Machtash Sgiru. Nega Tzaras Machtash Sgiru. You're sealed off. You're sealed off. Bodad Yeshev. Right? The Metzorah is cut off. Right? And and that's that the Menuga is in a state of where he is Meruchak, sealed off from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Opposite of Oneg. Oneg. Right? All right, so that's it. First, Moshe taught me when I first met him that Tom, tough mem, being sealed off, like being that's it.
That's how I knew that.
Right. Being a tum and tamun, it's a tameh. It means to be sealed off, right? Atum, right? So that's it. I understand why Oneg and Nega are like two sides of the same pole. But of course, when you do tshuva me'ava avnosav nasol kischuyas, and that's how in a second you could turn the Nega into Oneg, because when you do tshuva me'ava, whatever you did wrong becomes its opposite. That's right. Right, and that's why in a second, right, when we talk tshuva me'ava, the Oneg could become Nega, and that's what it means. Because they turn their richuk into kiruv, they turn the situation on its head, mikoach the tshuva. Right, but that's in that Oneg and Nega are the two opposite poles of the same continuum. Oneg is dveikus, Nega is to be cut off and sealed off from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the beer and the divrei Sefer Yetzirah.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. Wow.